Alrighty, so right about now you're either one of two things. Extremely bored or just wanting to know how to change the oil on your KLR. So stay tuned because I'm going to show you what you're going to need to do this job. Okay, so I've got two oil filters here. One is a K&N filter, the other is a Versa. Doesn't really matter which one you choose, but I do think the K&N filter is a little bit higher quality, so I'm going to use that one in this tutorial. Then of course what we need next is our motor oil. I'm using Castrol GTX here, which is 15W40. You don't have to use this, but it's what I previously had on my bike, so for this instructional video I'm just going to use this particular oil. Of course, we will also be needing a small socket set, a standard socket set, and an oil pan. You'll need an 8mm and a 17mm socket to get this job done. And of course, one other thing I don't think is 100% necessary, which is a torque wrench. Minimum of 29 Nm would be preferable. And last but not least would be your motorcycle. You wouldn't be able to do any maintenance on it if you didn't have it with you. So let's get underway and start the tutorial. Of course, the first thing we need to do would be to warm up our bike. We can either do that by just running it in the driveway, or you could even take it for a ride, like this. Just try not to get it too hot, because you do have to handle the oil and that kind of stuff, so that's probably not the best idea. So what we're going to do is just take off the sump plug. It may take a little bit of force depending on how tight previous mechanic put it on, so let's do that. So just let all the oil drain out, and then we can move up to the top where we can remove the filler cap. Just undo that guy and place it to the side. Now you'll notice I'm placing a little rag down the bottom there, and you'll find out why in a minute, just after we take these two bolts out. I also just readjust the pan so any oil that does spill will get caught. So once you get those bolts undone, what you'll need to do is just take off this little cap here. As you can see, I'm using a little screwdriver here just to pry it off. Just be careful not to break anything when you're doing that, because there is a little O-ring just underneath, so you don't want to split that. So once you remove that cap, a whole lot of oil will come spilling out, revealing the reason why we had that little rag down there. So reach in and grab your filter out. You can pretty much chuck it away, but before you do that, there is a little pipe inside it, so remove that because we will be needing that later on. Take note that the little pipe does have a little smaller section on the end. That part goes in first rather than the other way around. From here you can pretty much just let your bike drip dry from all the oil. So yeah, go read a magazine or something. So once you've finished strip drying and reading your magazine, you can pretty much put the sump plug back in. Of course, using your 17mm, torque it back to 29 Nm. Don't really worry if you don't have a torque wrench. You can pretty much do it by feel. Okay, so get your filter. This one here is a K&N filter. Doesn't really matter which one you use, but this is the one I've got. So take some oil and wet both seals on either end, like so. And then of course, using that little pipe, just slide it through the seals. And then of course with the thinner end, place it into the bike. And then what you want to do is take that oil filter cap again and pretty much wet the O-ring like we did with the oil filter. Of course, make sure you get the orientation right. There is a little arrow, so make that point upwards. It may take a little force to get the cap back on, but you can pretty much do that with your hand. Of course, once you've done that, put the bolts back in and tighten them back up using your 8mm spanner. Don't know if there's a specified torque, but you can do this by feel. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to grab our oil and we're going to measure out approximately 2.5 litres. As you can see here, I've got a 1 litre pouring jug. I've done it in increments, of course. Okay, so first what we're going to do is pour in 2 litres. I've got 1 litre, as I said, just 2 of those. Then of course check your sight glass. You'll notice with 2 litres in there it's pretty much full. What it is because there hasn't been any oil and we've just poured some in, it'll appear to be fuller than usual. So what we're going to do is we're going to run the bike and then test it again. So of course place the filler cap back on and then start your bike. Okay, so once you've run it for a couple seconds, your oil level should have changed. So what we're going to do is we're going to check the level and then put some more in there. So checking the levels once again, we might see that it's a little bit low, so just a little bit of trial and error of filling and checking. Generally a good level would be a couple millimeters below the top field line. Be careful not to go over this. Alrighty, so once you get the level right, you're pretty much done. All you have to do now is put your filler cap back on. And that's it. Congratulations, you've just successfully changed your oil. Go enjoy your riding.